Okay, back to the benefits of marriage. I just have a couple more words to say here. Um, so the benefits of marriage that we're talking about today are the health benefits, the happiness benefits, and the economic benefits. So now I'll talk about economics. Married people have more economic resources than unmarried people since they generally have dual incomes, dual pensions, and twice the Social Security. Husbands are on average more productive than unmarried men, with the incentive of families to drive them. This leads to better health. More financial resources leads to better health options. So I also wanted to say that in your textbook, there are listed 4 factors for a happy marriage on page 287. And I just wanted you to make sure that you looked at those because they are included on your exam. And then this chart that we see here, as you can see that this is the percentage of people that describe their marriage as very happy from 1973 to 2012. So in the 1970s, people were more happy in their marriages. They were most happy then, with 66.6% of people who were asked described their marriage as very happy. And then it kind of declined little by little until the 2000s. And now it's back up again. Between 2010 and 2012, we've gone back up again to 64.2% describe their marriage as very happy. So shifting gears here, we will now talk about parenting. So when we think of parenting, we have a strong picture in our minds of what a parent should be like. And you can see from this picture the good parents and the bad parents, and how they will function within the family unit. The image that we have in our minds is culturally informed. In other words, parenting looks different to a degree according to the culture that you live in. Socialization to the norms of parenting are extremely strong in our culture, and this creates a pervasive pressure to conform to the parenting norms of our culture. The idealized image of family that we've looked at in past weeks says a lot about the ways parenting has been socially constructed in our culture. This idealized image includes 2 parents of opposite genders with 1 or more children at home. The father is the breadwinner and takes a back seat with parenting. The mother does not work in the paid labor force, but instead focuses all of her attention on care in the home. Being there 24/7 for her kids and husband, and creating a healthy, stable, and happy environment for them is her job. This idealized image is not based at all in today's reality. As I mentioned before, only 7% of families in the United States look like this. However, this idealized image provides a sort of template for families in our culture to strive for. We can see that the idealized image is not the reality of parenthood, so why do we strive for it anyway? Because images of parenthood are socially constructed and are very pervasive in the way that we think about who we are as people. They differ across cultures and differ according to historical time period. So, is parenting, the question is this idealized image, is it based in biology? Many would argue that this is so. However, parenting and styles of parenting are connected to social norms and social sources rather than biological ones. Similarly, childhood is a socially constructed concept which has changed radically in our culture over time. We think of childhood as a biological stage of life, but in fact the experience of childhood is different across cultures and time periods. So, for instance, this was the example I wanted to give you tonight, and this is also the answer to your quiz question 5. I've been doing a research project on my own family. I've been looking into my ancestors, and one really big surprise that I found was that my great grandmother, who I've been researching, her name was Fanny Feldman. She had 7 children, and I thought that years that her children were born were wrong, but they remained throughout her life. And it turned out that by the time she was 14 years old, she had already had 2 children. And this was in Russia, in the 1870s. So this was a long time ago. This was like 150 years ago, when childhood was seen as a very different thing. She was no longer seen as a child. She was seen as old enough to have her own children, and in fact had 2 of her 7 children before she was, or by the time that she was 14. So the answer to quiz question 5 is the first one. It's my great grandmother. So there are several social forces which have played a role in the way childhood is thought of in our culture compared to earlier times. Firstly, families used to be a work unit, and each family had their own role within this unit. The family worked together as a team to earn the family's livelihood. Now, children don't in general take part in family earnings and have more time for leisure and play. Second, children are now increasingly raised in cities or suburbs, where they used to be raised more often in rural areas. This has allowed children to spend less time with their parents and more time with their peers. That said, children also used to spend more time under the direct influence of their parents, including their schooling. So many children didn't go to school, but engaged in homeschooling with their parents. There might not have even been a school nearby. Now children spend a great deal of time in organized activities with other adults, schools, clubs, after-school sports, etc. This has led to less creative time for children and overscheduling. Fourth, children now live with dual earner families. Mothers are not at home as much as they used to be, and often they live with divorced parents. And they also grow up with fewer siblings, which has an effect on who they are as children. Also, technological innovations like TV, the internet, and social media have had a profound effect on the social lives of children. Children in the past read books, engaged in storytelling, made up games, and played pretend, but not so much anymore with all of the technological innovations that we've had. 6, smaller families and fewer children means children get more attention and resources placed on each child. 7th is consumerism. Children have many more things than they used to. This has led to new and increased forms of peer pressure and has changed children's concepts of self-worth. And last, parenting styles are more flexible now than they used to be, and there are a lot more different types of parenting styles. So I wanted to mention at the end of this video, which we are here at the end, that there is one more video. It's not a lecture video. There's no lecture quiz associated with it, but it is a video in which the sociologist Annette LaRue is interviewed by another sociologist, Dalton Conley, and it's an important video for our class, and what you learn from it will be, again, on your exam. So anyway, thank you for listening, and we only have one more set of lectures for next week. All right, so thank you.